Welcome to Tulsa Botanic Garden Virtual Lessons. I'm your host, Susan Farrow. Each lesson will have 3 parts. The first part is a storybook that you can find at any of the local bookstores. The second part is the discussion. That is the information of the lesson. It includes a downloadable worksheet or diagrams that you can use to help reinforce the lesson. And then the third part is activities. There are 1 or more that you can do. They may also include a downloadable lesson. They will have instructions, so they are easily completed by you. I hope you enjoy these. Thanks for watching. Seeds Move by Robin Page. A tiny seed can one day become a flower, a fruit, or even a giant tree. Every seed, big or small, contains the beginning of a new plant. But a seed needs sunlight, soil, water, and an uncrowded place to put down roots. To find all of these things, a seed must leave home. It must move. A seed hitchhikes. Spiky, stick-tight seeds snag in a raccoon's fur and hitch a ride. They may travel a long way before they fall off. A seed shoots. A human touch or passing animal or a gust of wind, the slightest jostle can send exploding cucumber seeds shooting from their pods. A seed catapults. When the right time comes, the hanging seed pods of the touch-me-not flower burst open, catapulting seeds in all directions. A seed drifts. A coconut, the huge seed of a palm tree, drifts on the ocean. If it is lucky, it will wash ashore and land in a perfect spot to become a new tree. A seed burrows. Attached to a bloodroot seed is a tasty tidbit that ants love to eat. The seed tricks the ants into dragging it to their underground nests. There the ants eat the snack and then bury the remaining seed. A seed rolls. One kind of African grass seed looks and smells just like the droppings of an antelope. Dung beetles eat animal droppings, and these seeds fool the beetles into rolling them back to their underground homes where the seeds can begin to grow. A seed sinks. A lotus seed drops from its pod and sinks to the bottom of a pond. There it will nestle into the mud and sprout. A seed hides. A western scrub jay collects an acorn, the seed of an oak tree, and carries it in its beak to a distant place. The jay then hides the acorn to eat later, burying it in the ground. But the jay forgets where it put some of its acorns, and those seeds may become new oak trees. A seed floats. Monkey ladder seeds drop from their huge pods, landing in the water below. The seeds float on the river, even across seas, until they take root on faraway shores. A seed squirts. The durian is one of the orangutan's favorite fruits, but its seeds are bitter. The orangutan eats the fruit and then squirts out the seeds. A seed scatters. The spiny mouse nibbles on the fruit of the taillyweed, but the seeds of this fruit taste terrible, so the mouse spits them out, scattering them all over. A seed falls. An unlucky mouse eats a wheat seed that gets snatched up by a hungry hawk. After the hawk eats the mouse, it coughs up a pellet that contains the mouse's fur and bones, along with undigested wheat seed. The pellet falls to the ground where the seeds can sprout. A seed parachutes. When a milkweed pod splits open, it releases hundreds of seeds. Each tiny seed is attached to silken threads that parachute in the wind, carrying the seed far away. A seed plunges. The seed pod of the red mangrove plunges into the water. The pod will drift away, then settle to the bottom of the marsh and put down roots. A seed helicopters. The seeds of a young tree helicopter spinning as they fall. They often end up some distance from their parent tree. A seed plops. Throughout the summer and fall, a hungry brown bear eats mountain ash berries and other fruits. As the bear wanders in search of more food, the undigested seeds plop out inside large pile of the bear's poop. And then a seed grows. We also help seeds move and grow. Farmers and gardeners all over the world plant seeds. You can too. Try tucking a watermelon seed into the soil, then water it and see what happens. And it grows. And it grows. Seeds move. Welcome to Tulsa Botanic Garden lesson, Seeds on the Move. What we're going to talk about today is how seeds get to other places. Plants produce seeds in order to create new plants. So along in the discussion, you're going to need some of these pages. What we're going to be creating is a flip book. So you'll need one of these and 3 of these per person. We're going to make a half-sheet flip book. Welcome to Tulsa Botanic Garden lesson, Seeds on the Move. This lesson is going to talk about how seeds get from one place to another. Plants produce seeds in order to create new plants. So in order to talk about this and to study this, we're going to create a flip book. Each person will need 1 of these pages and 3 of these pages. And what we're going to create is a half-page flip book. So let's get started. In order to create our flip book, we're going to take 1 title page and 6 of these pages and staple them together. So let's talk about seeds on the move and explain why seeds move. You may want to go back and refer to the book that I read that goes along to this lesson because it will give you a lot of this information. Number 1, we know that plants make seeds, and these seeds are used to create new plants. But they can't all stay in one place. Otherwise, we won't have these beautiful plants all over the place. We know plants can't walk. So now we have to figure out how can they move. There was a bunch of examples in the book that I read, but we're going to choose 6. We're going to choose wind, water, animals, gravity, attachment, and explosion. So take a minute and fill out the front page as why they need to move and the 6 we've talked about, and then you can color the flowers across the bottom. All right, now we're ready for the first page of our flip book. In our flip book, we are going to explain how wind works in moving seeds. What kind of seeds do you think will be the best to be caught by the wind and moved to another place? Do you think it's small seeds or large seeds? Round seeds or square seeds or long seeds, or do they need legs on them? What do you think works? Because we know that plants can't walk, they've got to create a seed that can move in the wind. And so this wind helps the seed act like a parachute. Have you ever seen one of these? This is a seed from a maple tree. And we know that the wind gets it, carries it, and it spins like a helicopter. Or have you ever seen seeds from one of these? When the wind gets a hold of it, the seeds fly. We know that as a dandelion. So on your flip book, here's what I need for you to do. Explain in your own words how the wind carries the seed. Draw a picture of what you think that looks like. And what are some examples? Well, we talked about the maple seed. We talked about a dandelion. What about that cottony stuff that blows in the wind? That's from a cottonwood tree. There's another example that could be listed right here. And just maybe you have some other examples that you know about. Take a minute and think about that and finish this first page. For the second page of our flip book, we're going to explain how water works to make seed move. So if we need water, it probably needs to be moving. So what do you think that seed needs to be able to do on water to move from one place to another? Do you think it needs to sink? What's a better choice? How about float? If it floats on the water, it can go from one place to another. Examples are coconuts. Do you know a coconut can float? So a coconut tree drops the coconut in the water and it floats down, and if it gets stuck somewhere, it can grow a whole new tree. There's something called monkey ladder. It's the same thing. It grows near water, and when it drops its seeds, they float away. And the last one is the water lily. Those are 3 examples of seeds that float. So finish filling out your page 2 and draw a picture of your favorite seed that floats. Animals. So what are a couple of ways that this could work? Well, one is they could get stuck in their fur. And you know what? We'll talk about that later with attachment. So what's another way? They have to eat it. Well, if they eat it, how does it get to a new place? You're right. It has to come out the other end. So they have to poop it out. And once it does that and lands, then it can grow where the animal left it. I know, that sounds kind of silly, but it works. Because animals will eat berries. Well, berries have seeds. They could even eat wheat. They could eat nuts like acorns. Speaking of acorns, besides eating them and pooping them out, how do you think squirrels, and what do they do with these acorns when they move them to a new place besides eat them? You're right, sometimes they bury them. So there's a couple of ways in which animals can move seeds in order to create new plants. It's now time to fill this out and draw a picture of your favorite. So our next page is going to be explain how gravity works to move seeds. Do you know what gravity is? Gravity is the force that's holding us or holding our feet to the ground. So gravity is also that makes things fall or roll. So what do you think? What kind of seeds could fall, say, out of a tree? How about apples? How about acorns? Back to those squirrels that carry the acorns and bury them. Well, the acorn can actually fall to the ground because of gravity and could even roll down the hill to a new spot and create a new tree. There's two examples. Can you think of one more? Gravity is pulling plants to the ground. Think back in the book we read. So here's what I need for you to do. Explain how that gravity causes seeds to fall to the ground and roll down a hill, and then draw in your favorite picture. All right, we're almost done. The next one is called attachment. Remember earlier I said something about fur? So attachment means it sticks to it. So whether the seed is sticky, has a sticky goo on it, or sticky spikes on it, when it attaches to the fur of an animal and they move to another place and rub up against a tree or wrestle with one of their friends, these seeds get knocked off and put in a new place. So what are some examples of seeds that may be sticky? Well, there's one called a stick-tight, and it looks like a little piece of wood and has some little fingers on the end, and that will stick to an animal's fur. But guess what? It'll also stick to your shoelaces, and you can actually move them to another area. Foxtails are kind of feathery, and those will stick to anything and get moved from one place to another. Not only animal fur, but to our shoes and our pants. And then the last one is the sandburr, or what we call a sticker. And when you step on those and ouch, well, those will stick to fur, and those can be moved from one place to another. So this sticky part is called attachment. Fill in attachment and tell how it works, list the examples, and draw us a great picture. The final page of our flip book is about explosion, when things shoot out. So we're going to explain how explosion works. Sometimes they can be touched, and sometimes the wind can cause this explosion and the seeds go shooting out. A lot of times they're carried by the wind to another place or fall to the ground in gravity. Some examples are a touch-me-not, which is a flower. When you touch the flower, it opens and shoots the seed out. Even violets have an explosion in order to release the seeds. And the most fun is the exploding cucumber that's on or near or in the water. We'll include some pictures of those for you because they are fun to see. So let's finish this page and draw a picture. Well, we've created our flip book about the way seeds move. And you know, the seeds don't just move in one way. Because sometimes, like the exploding, when they explode out, the wind will carry them. So it takes two ways in which seeds will move. Some seeds get stuck in fur and move to another place, in which we know is attachment, and then eventually they may fall off because of gravity. So a lot of times it takes more than one way for these seeds to move. That's the great way that nature works. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson on Seeds on the Move. I'm your host, Susan Faro. The activities for Seeds on the Move, there is just a number of them that you can come up with. And I've come up with a few. How about an arts and crafts activity? Look around, find anything you can, and put it together to make it look like a seed that represents you. But remember, you gotta figure out how that seed is gonna move. That seed can be glittery, it can be spiky, it can be flowy, have tails, whatever represents you. The second one is a writing activity along with the seed that represents you. Tell the story about how you moved from your mother plant to where you are now. How did your seed move? Give us your story. The third activity is a helicopter activity. Well, that's fun. What we're going to do is we're going to create one of these to show how wind helps it move. I've included this page, and this will make 4 different helicopters. There's directions on how to cut it out and fold it, and everybody will need at least 1 paper clip. Maybe you want to make it a STEM activity and allow them to make some changes to this and see if the changes make it better. No matter what you do, you can't go wrong because it will fly. I hope you've enjoyed these activities. I'm Susan Faro.